out a little bit. Okay, so we're looking at this up top here. So this engages drive shaft for the back. If you bring it forward, that moves that linkage. What that does is if you look closely down in here, see that fork on either side of that shaft pulling back? It's not much movement. You can see right here that the range of motion is very small. My theory is, because there's a snap ring right behind that, my theory is potentially that there is some sort of splines on that shaft that this ring here gets pushed back into, okay? So for example, let's go over here and take a look. So a lot of times when you're driving stuff, things will have like a serrated inner like this where the shaft or the male goes into the receptacle and then that allows it to turn and drive. And that's normal for like a drive shaft. This is a front differential off of this Ford Ranger. And all this does is transfer power. We got power in here. This moves over here and this moves this. So I'm probably backwards. This is a drive shaft on the back. Those two are tied together. Power comes in on the other side when that four-wheel drive is engaged. So over here, similarly, let's assume like you've got the rear drive, you've got the forward drive. So it's kind of like four-wheel drive. When you click this lever forward, two-wheel drive. When you flip it down and click it forward, you're in a four-wheel drive. And the problem is somewhere in here in the front part of our case. So when this is engaged, then that means that for some reason, power is not consistently being transferred to this shaft. Because I'll watch, and I've seen this shaft come to a complete stop. The back drives like no problem, okay? There's no issues at all back there. So my next step is to go peek around at an exploder diagram and look at what is in this on this front shaft and try to figure out whether or not this has got to come completely off so that I can get in there. If this has got to come completely off, then that means I think the next piece would be pulling this around here so I can get this bearing loose, or even potentially just taking an Allen wrench and popping the back of that off on both sides so that I can slide that shaft just out and then this can come out. It's probably a scenario where this is all together, you know, and you pull this case just like you would a transmission off of the engine. You can see right there where it's connected. That may also be part of what we would do. But either way, that rear drive shaft would have to come off. And you can see how simple these systems are. You've got, you know, this sits on this sprocket here. There's another sprocket that sits up there. This is your tensioner. I mean, not that big of a deal. These are not rocket science. Question is, can you put everything in a pile like that and then get it all back together at the end? But excited. So this is the Toro Flex 21, and we're just trying to get the front cutting head to work. I really want to bring, I've got another bench. I want to bring another bench. I want to get this up so I can get off the ground and take a look at it. And then I can wheel it over there and put it underneath, you know, 10,000 lights and actually look at what's going on and get it out of the way. That's next on my to-do list.